welcome to the podcast. Today you've got me, and I am helping break down 5 things to plan for school social media success for next school year. Okay. So we're really we got 5 things that you can plan out, take action on, and it'll make sure that you have social media success next school year. So I'm really excited to share these 5 tips. We've got a lot of resources in the show notes, so make sure you check out those resources. And you guys, sharing is caring. If you can share this episode with someone who needs to hear it, that does social media, that does school communication, will you please share this episode with them? I think it would really be it's a gift. It's a gift that can keep on giving, and hopefully give them some peace of mind and some success next school year for their schools. So let's get to this week's quick K-12 PR tip. All right, today's K-12 PR tip is super simple. We have created in the school communicator community a brand new Facebook group that's free that you can join now. It's called the K-12 School PR and Communications Community. I have a link for the invite in the show notes. You just got to answer a few questions before you get started. It really is an inclusive group. Charter schools, private schools, public schools, all K-12 schools, and any vendors that provide value and services to schools. It's anybody that's involved in school communications is invited. Okay. We've got some general rules of being respectful and supportive and no hate speech and no spam. But it is a place where if there are some like free professional development opportunities or a spot where you need to ask a question, this is a free spot. Now, it's not to be confused with my membership group. That's a paid group where we are offering professional development every week with trainings, Canva templates, resources, all of that. This is a free group. And so we have over 500 members right now at the time of me recording this. We're going to build that up into the thousands, where it's just a great place where if you're struggling, you need an idea to bounce off of, you're proud of something, or you've got something that people could benefit from in regards to maybe a free PD opportunity, you're going to be able to put it in that group. Okay. So it's called the K-12 School PR and Communications Community. There's an invite in the show notes. You're invited to show up there, be authentically you. And of course, hey, when you post something, your name goes alongside it. Okay. You can do anonymous posts. Just remember, anonymous posts, the people who run the page can see that. And there are 5 of us. I am one of them, but there's 5 of us that manage and moderate the page. We can always see even the anonymous posters. We won't disclose that, right? But just want you to know. So I'm very excited to have that free tool. It's another thing to add to your list of things that are going to help you be successful this next school year. But now let's jump in to my list of 5 things that you can do right now to help ensure social media success next school year. Let's get to it. Hey there, welcome to the podcast. And it's me and you hanging out today, talking a little bit about 5 things you can do now to plan for social media success for next school year. Hopefully, you do get a little bit different schedule this summer than during the regular school year. And certainly you're not posting quite as much because you don't have as much going on. But I wanted to break down 5 little things that you should be thinking about leading in to your social media efforts for the next year is 24-25. Maybe you're listening to this on rewind way out in the future. I think this would still apply, but I wanted to give 5 things that you should focus your efforts on. And number 1 is you really need to start now planning your staff kickoff or communication planning so that you can get your staff involved. You are the head cheerleader for your social media efforts within your school district or your school system, okay? Whether you're a public or private or charter, independent school, maybe even a virtual school. If you're in charge of social media for your school, you cannot do it alone. You have to get people involved. You have to get your staff involved. So right now it's time to think about your staff training. One of the things is what are you going to train your staff on when it comes to your back to school? Maybe you call it in service or convocation. Hopefully you have at least 10 to 15 minutes to talk about the importance of storytelling and how your staff should get involved. Okay. Now, I have some great resources in the show notes today that you're going to want to refer back to. I had shared a back to school checklist. It's a blog that you can take a look at that talks about what you should include in your back to school chat with your staff. And one of those being, how do they submit content, right? And remind them, that content's not always posted the moment that you receive it. Maybe, just make sure that it's very clear on how they're getting stuff to you. Explain the reach and the importance of social media. They need to see a few posts, see some of the comments that are coming in. And so that's really important. Part of our membership group that's happening this summer is we actually go through and we have a slide deck made in Canva that you can customize to your school. Now, we don't make that available to everybody. That's exclusive to our members, but it is something that we really take seriously and we take the time to put together. But that blog will get you a lot of that information that you need to make sure to include. You'll be able to create your own slide deck. Okay. So you definitely want to do that. The other thing is just spending these summer months communicating with your leadership team about the importance of communication. So this could definitely impact social media, but it could impact things overall in regards to communication as well, which probably fits on your plate. So just last week, episode 218 with Sarah Meredith, you guys, she talked about her communication camp that she puts on for her staff. Listen to that. Okay. It is not too late to consider implementing something like that in your school yet this summer. Or maybe you start thinking about next summer, or you even think about incorporating some of that concept into the back to school training with your staff, or a PD day that you have with your staff to make sure that they understand what happens, what's important to think about, what's on your website, all of these things. So I just really think the number one priority as you're thinking about next year is staff. How are you going to do kickoff? How are you including staff in your process, getting them excited, making sure that they feel like part of the team? Okay. So that's number one. Number two is thinking about content, because usually two biggest issues are time and then content. You don't have enough time to do social media and you don't have enough content ideas. So Alice Seifert introduced this concept back in episode 205, and she is out of Matamidi School District, and she broke down their school year by month to have themes of stories that you are going to tell so that it helps drive your content and drive the stories you go after. So I just want to tell you, definitely on your summer school list as well should be continuing to figure out how AI can help you in your role, in your idea generation, all of those things. But I went to my paid version of ChatGPT 4.0 and said, I'd like to develop 10 monthly themes starting in August for a school to cover on social media. Themes include things like community partnerships, technology in the classroom, I love to read. Stories you find throughout the district will tie to these themes and could go with the themes of the month. For example, November, month of Thanksgiving, maybe that's thanking for volunteering. Okay. So I asked ChatGPT and it quickly spit out month by month a suggestion. And you can do this yourself because you may have some concepts or some strategic planning themes that you want to make sure there's strategic storytelling that you want to do in your district, and you break it out by month. But here's what ChatGPT helped me develop. It said August, back to school buzz. Celebrate the new school year with introductions of new staff, updates on school improvements, and highlights of upcoming events. Awesome. So throughout the month of August, you do that. September, community connections. Focus on partnerships with local businesses and organizations and how these relationships benefit students. See how that can help develop some ideas, some story ideas of what you could cover on social media. October, tech and education. Showcase how technology is integrated into the classroom, featuring innovative projects and tech-savvy teachers. November, gratitude and giving. Highlight acts of kindness within the school community and thank volunteers and supporters in the spirit of Thanksgiving. December, celebrating diversity. Emphasize the cultural richness within the school, covering holiday traditions and stories from diverse perspectives. January, New Year, New Goals. February, love of reading. You get the picture, okay? Having themes by month will really help utilize or drive your storytelling efforts and make it easier for social media generation and easier to get help, whether you're going out and doing it or whether you're getting help from others could really help. And so again, I want to recommend that you listen to episode 205. Alice shares a lot of great knowledge, but one of those is those monthly features. And then also just want to throw out another blog idea in regards to, looking at what you're going to be sharing for content. And it's the blog on We've Got Spirit. Yes, we do. Talking about encouraging the implementation and the use of school spirit in your posts. So whether it be certain days of the week that you ask us, all of your staff and students to showcase their school pride. You can give away shirts, okay? You can put up photo ops. All of these things are discussed in this blog. And I think it's really going to help drive some of your content ideas for the new year. So that is tip number 2, themes by month. Then also looking at school spirit. Number 1 was that planning for staff kickoff and communication training with your staff. All right, number 3, it's time to add a trick. Okay, I love this add a trick. I'm a Peloton user, and so I do a lot with Rebecca Kennedy, and she loves adding a trick to some of her different workouts. Well, we're adding a trick to your tool belt, your social media tool belt in features. What feature could you add for the 24-25 school year that's going to, again, help drive content? So we have an awesome free download that's available in the show notes, and a blog that talks all about these social media features that you can add. Staff features. There's a lot of different type of staff features. Are you doing a weekly staff feature? Are you doing some type of weekly student feature? How about an alumni feature? Stories about your alumni and what they are accomplishing out in the world. Throwback Thursdays, pictures of old yearbooks. You guys, now's the time over summer. Grab those yearbooks, get some pictures, put them in a folder, and then you can schedule them out. Also, you can do question of the week, which is a great way to get engagement and to really train and encourage people to engage on your social media pages. You could also do something like what I learned this week. And you could figure out a way that you're going to highlight different classrooms throughout the year. But now is the time. Decide on one trick, one feature that you could add to your social media storytelling next year. And that'll really help. And again, we have a free download that explains in one page all 6 of those. Very easy to follow. You can grab that now on the show notes. All right. Number 4, things to plan for next school year. How to involve students. It's time to think about how are you involving students. They have such a unique perspective, and they have such great stories to share. They have amazing skill set that they can use, but some of you are still afraid. And so I want to really challenge you to think about how are you going to involve students. We have an amazing blog that's called How to Involve Students in Your School's Social Media Efforts. Okay. And that has some breakdowns of student takeovers that they can do just for the day. Maybe you can have a student intern. Maybe you have a club that you create. And there's a lot of other ideas. Maybe you're just conducting interviews with students. Check out that blog. And I really want to challenge you to make an effort to get students involved. I have learned a lot about this because I started a student internship at my school district in New Auburn. I started with 6 students. I wish I would have started with 1 or 2. It's more challenging the more students you have until you get a system figured out. So I really want to say start small. But we also have we have a lot of great resources on my website about student contributors, student takeovers, involving students. You just type that into the search bar on my blog or podcast episode page. A lot will come up. But podcast 210 with Janice Dimitri and her student Emma, great episode for you to listen to in regards to how this works, how Emma has incorporated, doing some student interviews with students, how she's improved her communication and style and all of that. It's amazing. So listen to that. And also I took time on podcast episode 204 to talk with Dr. Jill Johnson from Class Intercom. Class Intercom has a great tool to get your students involved. It is not that expensive to do, so you definitely could check out Class Intercom. But listen to that podcast episode because I really pick her brain a little bit on some of the things I'm struggling with my own student interns, and she gives some great advice. And so again, think and strategize how you're going to include students in your storytelling next school year. Okay. So we had plan your staff kickoff and your communication training, themes by month, add a trick, get some type of feature that you're going to add. How are you going to involve students? Get a plan. And number 5 for things you can do to plan for social media success for next school year is take a look and really re-examine that system of getting content. How are you getting content submitted to you? If people are texting you, direct messaging you, emailing your personal email inbox, emailing an inbox that you set up just for social media or other story ideas, and you have a form and you have carrier pigeons or somehow snail mail that's coming to you, I mean, it is overwhelming. I really am a strong encourager of getting one system, one method of content collection from your staff. I teach the method I suggest in my book, Social Media for Schools, just setting up a separate email address, but maybe you do choose to use a form, which is totally fine. But I'm just gonna make a recommendation that you really evaluate your system of getting content. And if you need help because you are feeling constantly overwhelmed, I really want to encourage you to order this book. It was just released in 2023. It has amazing reviews out on it. You can just grab your copy on Amazon. Social Media for Schools, proven storytelling strategies and ideas to celebrate your students and staff while keeping your sanity. Tons of examples, tip sheets, some takeaways after each chapter, case studies, all of the things in this book. Grab it now. I wrote the book with the help of many, many people and many school storytellers from across the country. And I just want to make sure that you know that the book club, there's a book club for free this summer happening. Okay. I've got the sign up in the show notes. You can sign up for free. It actually starts on June 25th. And we're going to go through, I've got 5 sections in the book. Week 1, June 25th, is all on systems. Week 2 will be July 2nd. It's all about branding. Then on July 11th, we go into storytelling. July 23rd, best practices. And July 30th, we talk about professional development. Most of you that do school communication don't have necessarily a formal education on school communicating. Okay. Some of you have a communication background. Some of you have the teaching background. Not all of us are really geared and educated just solely on school communication. This book was written for Social Media for Schools. And so it is really a great tool for you. If you sign up for the book club, you're going to get the recordings of every session to you on one handy dandy document along with some other helpful tools. we're going to get a chance to really evaluate what we read and what we learn. And even if you haven't read the book cover to cover, you're still going to get a ton out of this free professional development series. So number 5 is, evaluating your system, but I'm inviting you in to take some action and get success this next school year by joining me with this free book club. So that's it. We've got the 5 things we went through to plan for social media success. Number 1, plan your staff kickoff, getting your staff involved. Number 2, break down some themes by month and be thinking about how we're incorporating that school pride. Number 3, add a trick to your tool belt, like a feature that you can add for next school year. Number 4, make a plan for how you're going to involve students. And number 5, evaluate that system of getting content. And welcome aboard. Get this copy of your book and join me for our free book study. You can get signed up today and get all of the recordings, even if you can't join live each week, which, live is always better, right? We learn better when it's live and we can ask questions of our own. But we know we can also learn from others and learn from their questions. And so you can refer back to that. So I hope this helps you guys. We've got a whole summer of content and helpful tips here on the podcast. Share this episode with someone else who would love to hear it. And don't forget to visit the show notes because we shared a lot of resources that are going to help really provide you the tools to get these things done. And I can't wait to hear about the peace of mind and the success and the pride you have in having a plan going into next school year, because the stories you tell really do matter. So we will see you back here next week with another fabulous guest. And until then, keep telling those stories, guys. Bye-bye.